Okay. So, my opponent is playing, let's see, Emrys, Darlock, and Morlich. So I think I'll just play Faith first, just to see what's going to happen. So this Faith deck is kind of a big, greedy Faith deck with soldiers and like angels. The Hyperia one is full aggro and Brienne OTK, which is, I think, my sleeper deck for this tourney that no one really knows about. But it's really good. So I'll start with Faith first. All level X, yeah. I have all my champs. It's level 10. So I don't really like this hand, mainly because it's really expensive to start with. Drawing 2 Celestial Giants early on is not great, because their surfaces don't activate at all. Naval Explorer. So this could be like a big Emrys deck. There's not a whole lot I can do with this hand. Sickle Stalker. I don't have a Decimate yet, but that Zephyr Knight draw is kind of amazing, actually. I could place it in front of the High Inquisitor. I don't think that's the right move here, though. But it will actually kill the High Inquisitor next turn. But Emrys does have enough mana to play Twister next turn. But I think Twister would be a waste, so this might be the best move here. Cling to Life. That's good that they kind of wasted that early on. Especially with Lionheart Knight and all the other big minions in this deck. So this could be interesting. Inspired Arms. They must have gotten that out of their Naval Explorer. And I do actually really want to kill the High Inquisitor before it gets bad, so I might actually just play Zephyr. I'm gonna play to the right because it's not a soldier, so it won't get buffed by Lionheart Knight, and I do want to put my soldiers to the left of Lionheart Knight so that he buffs them, and then they attack. So Zephyr Knight to the right, and it doesn't matter too much where it goes. So they're both at 5 health, which is good against Twister. Nice. So they're both out. And I might actually save up for the A3 here. Mainly because Nature Light, they don't deal damage to your life, so they have to get through the shield first. So it'd actually be really nice to get just like a 6 shield on all my guys. So Castle and Luminary, it's not a soldier, so I'll place to the right and hope that the Noble, or sorry, the Templar it summons goes to the left, because that is a soldier. Right, so it went to the left, it's a soldier, so when Lionheart Knight attacks, it'll get +1/1. And this is a really strong board already. It's pretty resistant to another Twister. And then next turn I'll drop Celestial Giant plus Conditioning, Shield, or I could play another Castle Luminary. That's actually a really power play there, actually. And 6 shield. This is really hard to remove for Emrys. I think it might be over here. Angel of Hope. So trying to make a last ditch effort for healing, I think. Right. That's a good game. And because I won, I have to play the same deck again, which is okay. Up against Morlich. Oh, this is actually a really good hand to start with. I'm not exactly sure what Morlich can do. Mainly because a lot of people don't really play it. But he does have some decent AoE in his A2. So if I'm gonna basically play a bunch of big units, I might want to play my A3 along with him. Nothing I can do here. A Fungoid. So what I could do here is play Sickle Stalker and just hit the Fungoid, but that might be a waste, because I should probably save Sickle Stalker for anything else that comes out. And by playing it out now, I'd use the orb, and it'd get destroyed, so it's not providing any threat. I could alternatively play Archer Adept, hits the Prince of Rags, but the problem with that play is that the unit it summons is actually pretty good, but at the same time, if I play Archer Adept in front of it, there's not a whole lot he could do to really save it. So that might be the best play here. Could also play Orb into Tribal Elder, but I think that's a little early, so I'll play Archer Adept to hit the Prince of Rags. Thanks for the stream. Alright, I'll see you later. Yeah. A2. That's a little greedy there, I'd say. I'll probably just play... Well, if I play Tribal Elder, I'll get Pharaoh's Guard next turn too, which is pretty good. But I don't really want to keep these guys alive. But they might have some buffer cards for their undeads, which I'd like them to waste, so that I could play Sickle Stalker and just make it so it's not really that good. a zombie. It's pretty average. Oh, Zephyr Knight is a really amazing play here, I'd say. Because I always have Decimate to really take out any big things like Rise of the Undead. Another Sickle Stalker. I could counter with my own. Or I could play Castellan Luminary and then play A3. Or another Zephyr Knight. That's always a good play too. I think it's worth just doing it. And I'm getting close to 9 blood, so playing A1 wouldn't be an awful choice either. But I kind of want the option of having a shield whenever. Plague Lord. Right, so this is going to be a good moment to really play that A3. And these guys deal 3. So both of these guys will deal 5 damage total. So if I play Conditioning plus Holy Ward, it'll basically nullify all of it. But Castellan Luminary is kind of accelerating my game plan, I'd say, if I play it and then play the shield and everything. Another Plague Lord and Plague Swarm. So those are kind of annoying cards for soldiers decks. There's not a ton of great options here. I'll probably just play Conditioning and pass. I would like to remove the Plague Lord, but I'm not really going to waste Decimate to do so. So I'll just let the A2 get played and wipe my board. It's fine. Because I still have more life and I have more attack. So I'll still be putting pressure. Horse. That seemed more like a blunder on their part to play the Unholy Sacrifice after dropping Horse. Another High Inquisitor. Got my Angel of Vitality. Okay. Well, I could just play Divine Intervention here. That's solid. Rise of the Undead. So this is going to be the moment where I drop Decimate. Though, I don't really need to do it to win. But it is a good choice here. So I could play Decimate, and then play A3, or I could just pass here and maybe gain attack. So let's just do that first. And I think actually gaining attack here is the better move, because they're low on life, so each point is going to be more and more useful now. I'll just drop Angel of Hope. Last game with Faith here. Divine Intervention and Angel of Hope are a little expensive for an opening hand. Not a whole lot I can do. Play conditioning. Shield is not really great against Darlock because does have Soul Theft, which goes past it. A3 would be a problem, but they don't have it unlocked. But there's still a ton of cards that go past Shield. So gaining attack, I think, is the better option here. A mummy? Well, that's actually a pretty scary thing to go up against. I don't really have a ton that can counter it. Possibly just play Zephyr Knight to hit it. Hope they play A1 on Zephyr Knight to get the full kill. And then I'll just keep dropping, I guess, more damage from my hand. But I'd rather not play Decimate on a single card. Doom Knight. Okay, now that looks a little bit more dangerous, I'd say. So I might actually just play A2. And I really want to drop Decimate, but I want more to get hit first by it, so maybe hold off for a sec. And just play another Zephyr Knight. See what happens. Because next turn I could drop Sickle Stalker and Archer Adept to kill the Doom Knight if more stuff doesn't get played for me to decimate. And this just seems like a decimate moment. Oh, they played Dimensional Rift on my Zephyr. That's kind of interesting. It's really just giving me more removal. So. So Tribal Elder, that could be pretty scary with what they have in hand. I'm just gonna drop, I think, Lion against the Loki. That'll kind of ensure it dies without me wasting other removal pieces when I don't have to. Mark for Death. Okay. I would like to drop Divine Intervention here, but there's a big risk that it just like goes all on the Lion, and that is not a great idea. And I pretty much already have a winning board here anyways, so there's not a big incentive to really play it. Might as well just play it now. Alright, good game. So, I guess there's kind of time between games. So I didn't really show the decks I'm using at all. This is Brienne OTK. I've changed it up quite a bit from the last tournament. and took out some cards, added in new cards, tried out new things. So I guess the most notable changes is Dread Striker, which basically doubles its attack before it attacks, which is really insane, with Berserk that gives speed, and Borrowed Divinity, which basically just gives it 10 attack. So essentially if I play Dread Striker and then play one of these on it, it wins the game by itself on 7. I added some more kind of general removals like Annihilate and Combust to really fill out the matchups against certain things. Angels of Hope, they're more flyers. They're also really hard to remove with a Resurrect. So that's also a good option for Berserk or Borrowed Divinity. And that's about it for the deck. Just general removal, AoE, and Brienne's abilities to control the board early. The Faith deck that I just played, it's not something I'm completely finalized on yet, but it is kind of just a big, greedy Faith deck that I'm just going to play to counter other really big decks. Because her A1 provides a lot of value over the course of the game. So this deck's curve starts at around 4, with just a ton of removal cards, and then some big hitters and tanks to really make sure Faith survives. Last one, Hyperia aggro. So this one is kind of the opposite of the Faith deck. It just plays a lot of things really early on, and then uses A2 to kind of buff them up and just destroy the enemy champion pretty early on. So all the cards here are actually really good. I think this is, I wouldn't say under, it's kind of underestimated deck, really, because it wins pretty fast and it wins big, but it is weak to Chaos, which has Combust, which means as soon as I play A2 on a Chaos champion and they combust it, I pretty much lose. Along with other things about aggro that just make it really difficult to play. So there's a lot this deck has to really take account of, and it needs to kind of draw Phalanx formation early on against certain decks, or it'll lose to AoE. So that's about it for the decks. I'm gonna go check the brackets for a sec. So I'm gonna be up against, let's see, Yogg. I don't know who that is. So they're playing, I could just show this. Yogg is playing, oh, So that's, yeah, Keeper, Morlich, and Emrys. So, the only dangerous one I'd say here is Emrys. But Emrys does get countered by Brienne OTK. Because he doesn't have a ton of removal past Twisters. Morlich, again, I don't really know what he does, but he does have good AoE. Keeper is... I think Keeper is just really weak. His blood abilities are not that great at all. So I don't think I'd have a too difficult time winning. I think my Hyperia would go best against Keeper and Emrys. The Faith would be good against Morlich again. And Brienne is probably really good against all three of these. So I might start actually with Faith again to see what they throw out first, and then kind of play accordingly to that. So, kind of just waiting here. I'm gonna see if I can ping them. So still waiting here. They have not replied back to the ping, but it just might be like a waiting period or something. So gonna start with Faith, kind of probe their decks and strategy, see how they play. Keeper first, okay. So this hand, I'm gonna replace Celestial Giant because I want its surface ability to go off. Castle and Luminary, I could probably remove too, because I want some other, like, removal pieces early. Conditioning and Archer Adept are both good. Blood Scent Wolf. Okay. And a Abomination. So this could get pretty interesting. Um, I don't have a ton of removal, and I don't think I can actually take that out unless I were to play Sickle Stalker into it, then play Archer Adept next turn, which is not a bad idea, but it does get rid of my Sickle Stalker, which I do want to keep around for a little bit. Especially if they have anything else that's really more dangerous than an Abomination. So I might play Tribal Elder up against the Blood-Scented Wolf and see what happens. I also have the opportunity to play A3, and its shield is going to be quite useful here, but Shadow can go past it, so I do have to be careful with it. I'll just play Celestial Giant, and then next turn maybe play Archer Adept plus Sickle Stalker plus A3. And that will kind of work on solidifying the board. It won't really prevent actually a Twister, which just got played, but it's still pretty solid. I'm not exactly sure what they could really do with 6 mana that kind of make me worried a little bit, besides Mummy. Legacy Tree is fairly dangerous. Another Abomination. So I could probably get started on just dropping Lionheart Knights, but this board is weak to another Twister. Did not really notice that before playing, so that could have been pretty scary if they played another Twister. This isn't great. I'm actually going to play Castle and Luminary just to keep the Celestial Giant alive for another turn. And then next turn I could play Holy Intervention, which would be pretty hard for them, or sorry, Divine Intervention, which would be hard for them to really go past. Or Decimate. Decimate is a good choice here. But I think I could actually... Oh no, so I can't actually play Divine Intervention because this thing has Guard. So I think the best play actually is to play Conviction, Decimate. And that'll bring us up on board, health, and attack, which is great. One with nature, that just conjures, or merge with nature. It conjures a powerful nature rune. So it could, I've played this actually quite a bit. It's usually something like like Neptune, or just something really expensive. So it could be bad, but by actually playing the thing that comes out of it, they're gonna lose almost all of their mana. So they won't be able to respond to anything else I do. Serve the Shadow. Okay, so I might as well just drop a Lionheart Knight or something. Or just another Angel. And just take the hit. So good game there. Up against Morlich. Just have to watch out for the 8-2, which removes a lot of my board if I'm not careful. Corpse Demon. It's a little interesting to see a Corpse Demon that's not played all the way to the right, because that's usually what happens in a lot of games. Still can't do much of anything, which is okay, but I would like to stay ahead on board and health early on, which this is not really helping at all. So I'm going to need to play Mana Orb. And Lionheart Knight is actually better early on, but at the same time they might have a ton of removal for the Lionheart Knight, and that's not something I really want to see. But I think it's worth the risk, mainly because I'm already down 15 health, board, and 2 attack. And that's going to be pretty brutal. I might actually just play Holy Ward here and kind of really ensure that it lives. So they drew a Pluto, which is a very annoying card. Another Royal Alchemist. They are kind of really ahead in terms of cards. Uh, 3 plus 4, so that's 7 damage on Lionheart Knight. Plus anything else they could play to really kill it. And I have not drawn, honestly, a single removal card at all. So my best bet is really just Nemean Lion to hit Corpse Demon and kind of pray. Or Sickle Stalker. That would work in basically wiping their whole board, I'd say. Which is quite nice. I definitely needed that. But there's still the problem that they have Pluto in hand. That'll really buff up all their cards. And I'm kind of down. Zephyr Knight. good card here. And Pluto is 9 mana, so they're probably looking just to drop it next turn. So I really gotta play Zephyr Knight, like now or never. Which I'm not really a fan of, but probably should. And I'm just gonna play it in front of the Umbral Slasher because Pluto will give +2/2, which means this will have 4 attack, which won't be enough to take out the Zephyr. A1 again. This is probably the moment where I just start dropping Angels and hope to win off of that. Serve the Shadow. Blight of Retribution. So, pretty scary stuff. This is a demon. And Pluto does buff demons. So I might just play Holy Ward. And just hope this board is strong enough to really take out anything they have. And now I really do have to hope that when I play Divine Intervention, it will buff up the Pharaoh's Guard enough to not just die. Or I could just play Nemean Lion plus Conditioning. It's a little risky, especially with it being 2 life away from really dying after this turn. And Armored Skeleton is going to do a ton with that A2. I think I might just take the risk for this. That's an interesting A2 choice, and not the Armored Skeleton. But okay. Iron Bolt. And serve the Shadow. So the big problem here is gonna be surviving. Could just play it like this. And just have to start watching out for more corruption. Charge. So that speed is... Wow, that does a lot. Okay. So I really have to start kind of defending myself now. Just playing that A2 each turn. Imperator. Dangerous. That's gonna hurt a lot too. And I don't think there's a whole lot I can really do about any of this. Right, because Iron Bull will just hit the Templar, and it'll hit me again. So that's game over there. Because I know they're playing Morlich again, I should probably just play Brienne. Because Hyperia against that A2 is not going to be very pretty. So this opening hand, it's not great. I really need my card draw and kind of mana cards and other things I can really play. And these are kind of way too expensive to go with. So the only good one here is probably Tribal Elder in this hand. Playing it on Dread Striker and Berserk is kind of nice. And we got actually 2. So this is good for winning the game, but it's not really good for getting me into the game to actually win. And they drew Pluto again. I could just hit this and then play Sickle Stalker. And that's not actually a bad idea at all. Get rid of it while I still can. Iron Bull. So that's going to be pretty annoying to go with. I want to play Pegasus mainly because it's better to spend the mana, but at the same time, Tribal Elder is really going to do a lot for this hand. So I think Tribal Elder here is a good choice. Then play Lion next turn. Umbral Slasher. Angel Vitality is a good choice there as well. Really need to make sure all of my minions can survive the A2. They passed. That's kind of weird. Sure, I'll play Lion. I know they still have Pluto in hand. I think it has 9 attack, so Dread Striker is not going to survive it at all. I really have to make sure they don't remove this. And I do have a second copy, but that's not really something to bank on at all. So I might actually just start removing their board completely and bait out that A2. Well, I do want to get rid of this. Might as well shoot it. Okay. So that got baited out. Mythgard at home? What do you mean, Gator? Oh, yeah. I guess, yeah, it sort of does look like Mythgard. But if they can't remove the Dread Striker, this is a win. Okay, well, they're going to play Serve the Shadow. That's their second one. Nubis. This is going to hurt quite a bit. This kind of is like that, yeah, Gator. This is 12 plus 10. That's 22 damage already. Yeah, you're losing me, Gator. Ouch. This is gonna hurt. Yeah, and that's kind of game over here. So what went wrong there? I think I was playing a little too conservatively with the Dread Striker. Hyperia is more or less going to work here, I'd say. Do have to watch out for the A2. How pay to win is this? If we're going to be 100% honest, this is, I wouldn't say pay to win, but it's pay to play. Like, I have, as a free-to-play player, I have 9, or not even 9, 7 out of like 16 champions unlocked, so the heroes. And I've been playing for like 2 months. So like, I am missing a good chunk of the special cards in game. This is going to be kind of gross. I really don't want to play A2. Yeah, I mean, they do give rewards for like season passes and all that, but like, it's, yeah. Alright, I'll see you Gator. Yep. Sparta Arms plus A2. Yeah, that's okay. Iron Bull again. Yeah, this card is so annoying. I'm just kind of hoping these Lionheart Knights can really defend long enough for me to win. If I give it speed, actually, that might be game over. There's not a whole lot they can do about speeded Lionheart Knights. Let's see if it'll work. Stealth, dangerous, and guard. So, not exactly what I want, but it'll work. Mana Orb into Avenging Angel. They could play A2. Yep. It's not going to remove my entire board, though, which is fine. It is going to hurt. But I'm still up. They could play another Avenging Angel. I don't think they've drawn Pluto yet, but it might come out. Sharon. I personally think Sharon here is a waste. It's not that great at all. Alright, good game. Last match is up against Keeper, so that's actually going to be even worse for this deck. Because Keeper's A1 is pretty brutal. Or, actually not against Keeper, it's against Emrys. Have to watch out for Twister. And that's about it for Emrys. Because I can kind of fight through his stats. I do want to save the Phalanx for Twister. But A2 is going to be the biggest danger here. Even if I can kind of like fight through all of his health, it is still going to be pretty brutal to do so. And he has Mana Orb, so as soon as he hits 4 mana, I have to start defending. He has 3, so he could play Sickle Stalker, and that's about it. But I'd take that risk of Sickle Stalker if I have Archer Adept. Even though he could play A2, it might be a waste there. Okay, this is going to be a greed moment now. They can play Twister, but it'll only remove 1, and that's the one I don't really care about. Summoner. I'm just gonna have to ignore Summoner here and hope my Spirit Falcon can win. Watch out for Flesh the Soil, definitely. Twister doesn't do really much against me. I'm gonna play Archer Adept. And I don't need to play anything else. So I'll pass there. Just hoping I can draw something really good to help me out here. Lionheart Knight. Another daily devotion would be good too. Okay, well, that sort of changes things. If they have another Twister, I think it's over for me with this. Iron Bull. I can deal with that. Just play Spirit Falcon in front of it to block the first hit. Now if I can get Phalanx formation to go off, this would be great. Nemean Lion. Gonna have to deal with that. I could possibly get Stealth here. Dangerous Guard. None of these are great. I probably should have put the Stealth on the other guy. But this is gonna have to work. As long as he can't remove Lionheart Knight, this is pretty good. Obviously putting it in Hoplite would have been better for more damage, but oh well. Ambush. It gets some stats. I'm gonna want to play off of my Spirit Falcon now. And they can heal 10. So it's going to take a bunch of turns to really grind through 10 more damage. Yeah, I think I blundered giving Stealth to Lionheart Knight. That's kind of my bad there. And Bridget does not really help here at all. So I'm going to need to defend. Or actually I could play Bridget on the Royal Alchemist and just try to take out these guys while I can. And then buff up this guy. But this is going to start hurting quite a bit. And I'm not sure I can really fight through A1. Okay, so if I can draw Stealth, that'd be great. Yeah, that'll work for me. I don't really care about the rest of this. But if they can't heal or completely remove my board and win, this should work. Twister. Not enough. 11, 8. Oh, that is a win. Ouch, yeah, so good games. Alright, so personally what I think happened there actually. Playing Brienne, it did work. I didn't have the greatest starting hand against the Morlich, and I blundered pretty hard in the last two matches I played. They're mainly giving stealth to the Lionheart Knight instead of the Hoplite, and in this game, I just did not go forward with the deck enough. I was trying to, I guess, play too hard into the OTK piece instead of just playing for the board and then once it looks opportune, win. Some of the corruption stuff was kind of annoying, but that was just something I had to deal with. I think by actually editing the Brienne deck to not have things like, what is it, Rampage? Yeah, Rampage. Deal 1 damage to target minion, against 2. And some of the other removals, I kind of made it more susceptible to corruption. The Faith deck was okay. It's definitely not finished. And I'm not really sure it's really possible to make this deck the way it is. In terms of the actual champion itself. Mainly because her blood abilities are so expensive, but they all scale off of her attack. And the only way to really buff up her attack then is to play more cards that boost them, or more blood abilities. And I just don't have the blood cards to do so. And even if I did put those in, it would kind of ruin the identity of the deck. But I am kind of surprised the Brienne did not do that great at all. Mainly blundered actually, along with not playing A1 on the first Avenging Angel before Anubis came out, which kind of doubled it. I should have completely removed it with, say, Sickle Stalker and A1 instead of playing the Phoenix, not the Phoenix, the Pegasus in front of it. Otherwise, it was pretty fair. I do definitely think that card should be changed, though. And I'm kind of happy, actually, that there's a ton of changes coming in the next patch that really makes a lot of, like, the single-use corruption and Avenging Angels getting nerfed as well. But a card I would definitely say needs to change, that I don't think anyone thinks is a threat yet, but it just is really weird, is Pluto. That surface ability is incredibly strong, and it'll completely change the game once it's drawn. And I think that's way too, it's way too random. and way too. It's like a feels bad moment. Also, a little disappointed that Twister was not actually banned in this tournament. The bans kind of focused on Chaos and like a single card in Force in Shadow, Forced Mutiny was banned, but I don't think that would have made a difference in any of the games. But the Chaos nerfs were quite huge. Nature did have one banned card on Pagan Harvest, but that just really targeted two champions in particular, which kind of shifted all the tournament decks to not have to really deal with the two annoying decks anymore, which was kind of good, but at the same time, it was kind of healthy to have that presence that you needed to really fight at the start of the game, which I think the Faith failed at doing, especially with a really bad draw. It it just passes all its turns and it can't do anything with its blood abilities at all, which I don't really like. She might actually need a redesign to not be so, let's say, bad with her blood abilities compared to all the other champions that can actually do something early on, where hers just don't do anything. But that's all I really have for, I guess, this tournament and this game. So, um, have a good day or night, and stay safe out there. All right, I'll see you maybe next tournament.